who we're trying to get on the phone, who perhaps can just explain to us what may be going through an officer's mind as they're really risking their own life flying along an interstate trying to get the car in pursuit to pull over, want to go now. We have Steve on the phone. Steve Cardian, former motorcycle cop. Steve, walk us through this. I mean, what is going on? Obviously the goal here for these police officers is to get the guy to stop, but it isn't easy.
No, it's not easy, Brooke, and they're following him in close proximity. He's not traveling at an extremely high rate of speed. He is going faster than the other cars that he's passing, but the law enforcement is waiting for an opportunity to seize him. They're likely calling ahead to other agencies and/or setting up in place where they can possibly detour him, box him in, or strip those tires.
Have you ever been involved in a pursuit like this?
Absolutely, a number of them.
I mean, what is priority number one, really?
Well, priority number one is the safety of the other users of the highway. They have to ensure that nobody else gets hurt or no one gets hurt. You've got a 4,500-pound car that's lethal on all four wheels, traveling at a pretty good speed. So safety of the users, other users of that highway, is a first and foremost priority.
And I guess we're hearing, just to update everyone, I don't know if you're sitting and watching this with me, but we're hearing that the driver, according to police, that the driver's accused of assaulting a police officer, because sometimes these things start and it may be over a minor traffic violation, and sometimes obviously it's over something worse. I mean, what have you found to be the case?
Well, we see that if an individual, a civilian, assaults a police officer, he would go above and beyond to do so. It makes him a great danger to society, so they want to get him.
They want to get him, and then for everyone else on the road, I mean, the best advice is just to slow down, pull over, and let the car that's flying by, I guess, continue on.
Yeah, slow down, pull over, stay to the right, let law enforcement tail him until they seize the opportunity to possibly, like I said, spike the tires or box him in or get him off into a safer location. You see the police officers there that are, staying alongside and staying out of harm's way. They're waiting to seize the opportunity right now.
I'm just hearing in my ear that not only is this, according to police, possible abuse of a cop, but also because of maybe this guy drove out of a gas station. So that's what I'm hearing. Let me ask you this, though, because we're watching, and as the screen pulls out, I think I counted something like 9 patrol cars following him. But, Steve, what may be happening in front of the truck, maybe miles down the road?
Law enforcement will likely be setting up. You'll have a lead car that's communicating to their police headquarters, who then send it out on likely a countywide or statewide frequency to other officers up ahead, preparing to hopefully slow this car down, stop him, and/or take him into custody.
So again, if you're just now joining us, a breaking story out of Dallas County, Texas. Steve, stay with me as I just recap this. At least I think we counted something like 9 patrol cars following this gray or maybe a light blue truck as it's continuing down 635 westbound toward the Addison area. And what I was just getting in my ear was the fact that not only is this driver, according to police, possibly accused of assaulting a police officer, this might also pertain to some kind of, maybe this guy drove off from a gas station. I don't know what this person might have done, but that's what we're hearing. This has been going on since 11 a.m. this morning, their time. I have motorcycle cop Steve Cardian, former cop, on the phone, just sort of talking us through this. And again, Steve, if people are just sort of joining us and watching, reiterate the fact that the priority, now it's sort of twofold. One, to make sure people on the highway are safe, the other cars, and two, to stop the fleeing car.
Yeah, first and foremost, they don't want anybody to get hurt. That's their priority right now. And second, certainly, is to stop him so that he can't cause any reckless danger or damage to users of the highway, property damage, personal damage, and so on.
And if police are saying that this driver's accused of assaulting a police officer, what kind of charges are we talking?
You're looking at a serious assault a second degree in most cases. That's an elevated assault third. The mere presence, the mere fact that he's a police officer makes it an aggravating factor with regard to the assault charge.
And I imagine that then not only after, we can't accuse him for sure of doing this, is what we're hearing from police, but not only that, but the fact that he's eluding police in this chase, that has to add to those charges, correct?
Yeah, they're going to pile up. They're going to have reckless use of the highway. They're going to have reckless driving. They're going to have a variety of vehicle and traffic infractions that they're going to administer on him, likely in multiple jurisdictions. So there's going to be a number of people. Reckless driving is a misdemeanor. The assault on a police officer is clearly a felony.
And how long? I know you've been part of chases like this. We've watched a bunch of them sort of unfolding in front of us live here on HLN. How long do these chases typically last?
Well, it depends upon the agency. Their standard operating procedure. With something this serious, it's not likely that they're going to give this up at all. They're going to stay and tail him until he drives to the end of the earth.
Okay, and again, we have been watching this video unfolding just really for the last few minutes. You're watching live, thanks to our CBS affiliate in Dallas. This truck heading westbound in 635 Dallas County, heading toward the Addison area. The incident began as a gas drive-off. This is what we're hearing now. New information. Officials say the incident began as a gas drive-off in Van Alstyne. The Collin County Sheriff's Office says as the suspect was being pursued, he or she tried to run over a law enforcement officer. We've been talking to former motorcycle cop Steve Cardian, also joined by my colleague Chuck Roberts, who I know has seen his fair share of these kind of police pursuits. I know as you've been sitting at the Acre desk.
Yeah, no two are alike either, are they?
No two are alike. Sometimes they're quick. Sometimes they last for quite a while, you know. But I don't know. In your experience, we see them in all kinds of different ways.
Yeah, it can be a pit maneuver. They can put out the spike strips and disable the vehicle as best they can. But this may be a little made easier because the traffic is so light, and they can go ahead of him and try to disable him in the aforementioned spike strip manner. He doesn't seem to be going off the freeway or off that route. There are indications he may be going into the heart of Dallas, which of course would be a lot more congested and present police officers with a lot more problems. But as you say, he apparently is being investigated for trying to run down a sheriff's deputy at what is called a crime scene. I'm not sure. Your indication is that it was a drive-off at a gas station?
Drive-off at a gas station, that's all.
It's amazing it's escalated into something like this.
And Steve, since we have you on the phone, what if Chuck brought up a great point? You know, the fact is this car has been traveling on the interstate, but once you get on a secondary road, that is when it becomes even increasingly dangerous for people who are walking on the sidewalk, people who are in their own subdivisions. Talk about the change. It's a different issue at stake.
Well, you've got residential roads that are typically not built for high-speed driving. That makes it more critical, and you have pedestrian involvement, which again adds another aggravating factor. So they'd like him to remain on the parkway with less obstacles in his way. They even have the mechanism to shut down that highway and not allow additional cars to enter it if he remains on that roadway.
Is the agency involved, the originating agency, in this case Collin County, the county north of Dallas, or do they transfer authority to where he is now or perhaps to the state?
Yeah, no, what's going to happen is the agency in the jurisdiction in which he eventually gets captured will initially arrest him, take charges, and then he'll be given back to the initiating agency, the one that started the chase, to face their charges within their jurisdiction as well. But he's lining up a multitude of it looks like they're setting up to do the strips. But he's lining up a multitude of charges in a number of different counties and jurisdictions.
It looks like they may have already tried to deploy those strips at that intersection. Of course, it's impossible to just take out one vehicle that way, right? I mean, you do run the risk of disabling several cars. Well, it's worth it. I mean, I'm not saying it's not worth it, but there is that, you know, unintended consequence, I guess.
Yeah, the strips actually let the air out of those tires pretty gradually. So for him to lose control of the car at the speed he's going at, it's not likely, but possible.
I want to bring in, Steve, if you can stay with us, I want to bring in, we're waiting for Wally Zion. Steve, and again, I guess my question is, how do these police officers know? I know they're pursuing him, and we see several of the cars there, and you talk about the spike strips ahead of them, and you don't know what direction this man or woman could be headed. Is it just a game of predicting what direction? The
radio travels a lot faster than the car he's driving, so you know, they keep close context to where he is, the road that he's on. They know how far away that the next exit is, and they'll be setting up and attempting, like they just did a minute or so ago, to deploy the strips, the spike strips, and other things. Possibly they may try at some point when he gets that desperate to employ the pit maneuver and/or box him in with additional vehicles.
It's light traffic. That certainly works in their favor. He's not making any erratic moves.
Yeah, let me get running. I got
Okay, Steve, I appreciate it. I think we may have Wally Zines on the phone. Is that correct? Wally Zines, a former New York City police officer and hostage negotiator. Wally's not quite ready yet, but we're going to get him shortly. As we continue this fairly slow-speed pursuit, it's basically at highway speeds, very light traffic in the North Dallas area. In fact, it started in the